Minister is honored to have you here, sir. And a student from ICFI with you will take on from me and will moderate this session. And to start with, she will introduce the professors.
Good afternoon, honorable present here. So the person that I'm about to introduce is someone who truly finds the place, strategy with substance. Mrs. Sudhakar is an alumnus of IIM Bangalore and MIT Sloan and brings with him 25 years of leadership experience as an award-winning brand strategist, clearly proving that branding is not just about logos but about long-term vision. He currently serves as the Director of Branding at ICFI, where he leads strategy across 11 universities, 9 business schools, and multiple tech and law institutes. A responsibility that makes him sounding a full-time MBA case study. Beyond institutional leadership, he actively mentors startups and speaks globally on innovation, helping organizations and entrepreneurs take sharper position better and scale smarter. His excellence has been widely recognized. He is the CK Pradhan Chair Awardee for Marketing 2024, Dune and Bradstreet Marketing Maverick 2024, and Brand Strategies of the Year 2025 by Flux Awards. He's also the author of Wise Views Lesson from the Game Changers to TV Cinema, Business Vehicles, and currently chairs the Education Committee, which means he speaks about strategy. It comes with both credibility and authority. And just when you think that's impressive enough, he's also an adventurer. He trekked to Everest Base Camp in 2023, to Machu Picchu in 2025, and has cycled over 12,700 kilometers, proving that endurance matters both in climbing and in life. So let's give a huge round of applause for none other than Mr. Sudhakar.
I welcome my co-author, Mr. Pattabhiram. He is an amazing, illustrious teacher for thousands of CA students across the country. The CA Institute was based in Chennai, but he has his students spread across the world now. He is a prolific writer. He has taught 76,000 students, as I mentioned. He spoke internationally, and his writing spans across non-fiction and biographies. Some of the noted works include Tech Phoenix, Satyam's 100-Day Turnaround, and India in 2047, The Amazing Story of a Modern Nation. This biography, The Man Who Saw Tomorrow, his sixth, continues his journey of chronicling leaders. In 2014, Rotary International bestowed on him the Lifetime of Professional Excellence Award. Away from work, he plays squash and pickleball. And he said, so famously, that his best partnership is for this book with Sudhakar Rao. I also welcome Mr. Sridhar Satyaraju. He was an illustrious alumnus of ICFI. He worked with ICFI, and he is a man of numbers, finance, markets, and analysis. I also welcome Mr. Sanjay Verma, who is in the audience. My esteemed ex-colleague from ICFI. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. And several other students, my own colleagues from branding. All of you, welcome to this conversation. Over to Mr. Sridhar Satyaraju.
Thank you, Dr. Sudhakar. I see a lot of familiar faces, legends like my first boss, Sanjeev Verma, in the audience. I didn't expect to talk with him. And Anand Ramaswamy, who also has an association with ICFI. Welcome to all the ICFI alumni as well, and the students and faculties. This is a great day. I think Republic Day, 77th Republic Day. I used to attend Mr. NJY's budget lectures, and he always used to say, friends, whenever it is our turn to invite somebody, head of state, do you know what India is going to invite? Usually it is some president of Botswana or prime minister of Nigeria or prime minister of Bangladesh and so on. But today, as we are talking, I think we already saw the morning RD parade. It had the likes of European Commission and the European Council heads. So this is a dream that Mr. Yashasvi dreamt long back. And it's a matter of pride that, whatever he has thought of, the legacy has more than continued, the way he envisioned for the country. So I had my qualification for being here. One of them is to having read the book at short notice, and also being figured in the book. A lot of others have also figured in the book who are sitting here. Mr. Sanjeev Verma. My acknowledgement of thanks for this opportunity. First of all, it's one of the most pulsating books, Pattabhi, that I've read, and I expected some kind of a hagiography or an enhanced corporate brochure, but it did turn out fortunately, and it truly covered a lot of anecdotes and episodes in a man's life. My first question to the both of you is, why did it take so long after 14, 15 years after the man's passing that you thought of this book? You can go first.
I've always thought of this book. I had always thought of this book. Of course, it needed somebody from ICFI to work with, because it's not easy to pick up all this information on oneself. And like someone says, no, everything has an appropriate time for it to happen. And I think this also worked out well. To be honest, maybe Sudhakar and I, what we did was that we first got a publisher in place. Once we told the publisher this is what we wanted to write, and once the publisher gave the go ahead, then we went to ICFI and said, this is a book that we want to write. Please support us in terms of getting people to whom we can talk. I would have personally been very, very happy if we had done it back, say, 2014 at least. But then I enjoyed it. It's always better late than never.
We call NJSSP very fondly NJY. These are the three letters NJY that was known as. NJY would have been 75 this year, had he been alive. And ICFI is 40 this year. ICFI Business School is 30 this year. It is a pleasant coincidence of a milestone kind of a number when we have done it, although we have done it late. But there has always been a constant discussion about the legend to be written about. Every single day he lives with us. In every program that we conduct, in every offering that we give in front of students, in every decision that we make, he lives on, and it is very difficult for us to capture everything in this book. And in one way or the other, the speed with which we had to write books vis-a-vis the comprehension with which the book deserves. So there's a trade-off between these two, and luckily it happened in 2025 December. So we are thankful, at least it has happened now, better late than never.
One of the brand leaders, consultants in the fight, and Pattabhi is a prolific writer of biographies. How did the marriage happen between both of you in the writer's room?
It is actually the meeting of the minds that's important. He has been working with ICFI for many years, and in ICFI 2.0, we have reached out to him to write another book. There was the first book called Let There Be Light, and we wanted to do a 2.0 of Let There Be Light. And in that connection, from 2014 onwards, we've been interacting. And if anybody interacts with me, they'll fall in love. The rest we can answer. It's working, sir.
But it's always important to, at least in modern times, to write along with somebody. And Sudhakar is someone who gives it inputs. His own, what should I say, when you interview him or when you talk to him, converse with him, the phrases that he uses, the sentences that he uses, you know how a writer's job is, you can just copy paste that thing. And so it was wonderful doing it with him. Second important thing is that I noticed that he does not, at least where we have worked together. He hasn't gone and disturbed the writing structure. So it was, I think, quite convenient working that way. Not only convenient, I think we complemented each other. He brought in the depth that the book required, and I have the love for writing, and that is how it was.
He ended up writing what he ever wanted to write, and I ended up making changes that always come to me.
It's remarkable because in 220 odd pages, you have quite condensed a lot. So my next question is, what is the stuff that you left out of this book? Because if it was a film, we know what goes out in the edit game.
Purposefully, you mean?
Purposefully or
Inadvertently.
you can say.
Sir, anything that we purposefully leave?
Because you had access to so much of archives and the memories and I got this 75 people that you said you are interviewed for the book.
So I don't think we have really left out anything. Maybe some of the areas we might not have covered in depth. We may not have covered his budget talks in depth, largely because the text of those budget talks were not available. We may not have also covered in depth the early controversies that INFI had, and that was, at least I took a conscious decision. We took a conscious decision not to go much with it except to make references to it, because INFI has moved a long distance from what it was at that particular point in time when those tussles happened. But we have been faithful to history, and I must tell with a very, very clear conscience that we have done a three-dimensional story of the man. We have not done a one-dimensional tribute story. If somebody reading that finds some parts hard to accept, I think it's a compliment.
Well, one thing that was very clear to us right from the beginning is that it is not an institutional history. The book is a biography of the man, the legend. So we made a clear distinction between chronicling the institution's milestones vis-a-vis the decision making, vis-a-vis the legend that he was, the anatomy of his persona, and some of the success and failure. So therefore we call it the untold story of NJSSP, the founder of ICFI, as opposed to the long history of ICFI as an institution itself. So what we have left out is some kind of description of the institute. But about the individual, we have covered the failures, we have covered some of the weaknesses as well, because no individual is perfect. And we have also taken care of something from the family. We have taken interviews and discussions with the family, and some of the personal details also have been captured. But inadvertently, if we have missed out, because it's a large persona, we would have missed out one or two important aspects definitely. Several individuals who work with him, say 75 we covered, but there are hundreds of individuals who work with him. We could not cover a few because of lack of access, because of misalignment of timing, so on and so forth. But otherwise, not by choice, but by force of misalignment, if we have missed out the wisdom.
But just shift gears now a bit. In writing this any biography, right, there is always one turning point in that man's life, which the biographers will come to seize and build up narrative. What was the turning point in NJY's life that changed the entire outlook and the speed of his decision making?
This was something that he had personally told me, and I picked that up straight that I think 1991, 92 was the turning point. The time India opened up its economy, and HMI, sometime when I spoke to him, maybe in the late 90s, he said when India opened up its economy, I decided that I shall spend my entire time at the institute, my consulting, my manufacturing, all of them shall go aside. And looking back in hindsight, I think the launch of the ICFI Business School, IBS, has been what has ensured that the institution actually. I think that was a turning point. I think it was a decision that was taken, if I could use that word, almost unilaterally, because I have access to information. It was a decision that was taken almost unilaterally. Perhaps if you had not done that, because of how the winds of change have taken place, you could not have been a one-horse institute running just the CFA program, and that has ensured the institute's longevity. I think that was the single most important turning point of his life.
Ask another question. What was the reason NJY was always keeping himself in the background in the so many sprawling of institutions he got? You will never find his name in the public domain or as a signatory to anything.
Oh, he has always demonstrated putting the work before and the person behind, in the sense that he has valued the institution first, the work first, and not the publicity for himself. And he was doing it very consciously, and I observed him several times. Once we traveled to US, and we were attending sessions in the AACSB conference, annual conference in Florida. And he turned to me and he told me that, this is called Chinese learning. Chinese method of learning is they attend all the conferences, they make some notes very peacefully, they don't ask any questions to anyone, and they go back and write papers and publish the research articles. So he said there is something for us to learn from that. He would always, for example, if a session is going on like this, he would probably come there and sit in the last row, and never his name in the advertisement. He is not a signing authority in the operational matters of the organization. He is not the managing director or chairman of the organization. He was just member board of governors. But everyone knew who is the man, where the buck stops, and who calls the shots. So it's a different story that you can control it, but you don't have to be the first person to look at when you think of IFI or any institution or organization that you start with. So he put the work before and himself behind.
Did this work for him in the whole life?
Unfolded, it worked absolutely well for him. For the kind of intellectual heft that he commands and the kind of behavior that he displayed in public, it worked absolutely well. I think if he had done anything reverse, it would have little not worked so well.
There is also a lot of narrative about the history of the institutions and many autocrats manifested itself. What was there a cost to pay in trade-off for his personal life or his personal health vis-a-vis what he built, the legacy of ICFI? Did he have to pay a cost for it? I mean, if he's 75, he was always in such good health, he would have been in midst of us. Probably
He was 61 when he passed away.
right. That's the reason. So was there any trade-off, hard trade-offs he had to pay for the kind of speed? There's a line in the book which says the scale of a university and speed of a startup. That sums up ICFI in the line. So was there a cost to play?
I really wouldn't know because I didn't have that kind of access. He's a very private person. There's a line that you don't cross. Okay. Having said that, one of his very close friends, Dr. Prasanna Chandra, told us in the course of an interview that maybe that he handled so many universities, so many institutions, there were so many issues that cropped up, and at that level he was possibly all alone, all by himself. That could have taken a toll is what he said. But then there's a lot of difference between an entrepreneur and an academician. And as far as personal life is concerned, I don't think there was a trade-off because he always said, and I got that input even from his family, that he would walk out of office at X hour every day, go for a long walk, discuss things at home. I don't therefore think that there was a personal issue at stake, although when somebody leads such a life, the family takes a backseat.
I want to actually answer this a little bit. The answer is no, there was no cost to play, professionally nor personally. He was a man of scale right from the beginning. He was actually made for scale, and therefore his mental expansion for scale was always there. And whether the organization measured enough to catch the pace or not, that was a question, but not he himself. So there was no cost to play as far as the individual is concerned. According to me, his capacity, his mind for scale was much, much larger than what has actually happened on the ground. One day he mentioned to me that we should always be grateful and thankful to God. We sleep tonight and we wake up tomorrow. The moment you wake up in the morning, you should be grateful to God because of the fact that we are woken up. So he was quite well, and I asked him another question: how do you balance your work and life? A one-to-one question I asked him sometime in 2010 or 2011. Then he said, you see me that I don't carry a mobile phone, nor do I get any calls. My esteemed colleagues like you are kind enough not to disturb me after 6 p.m. These are the exact verbatim words that he used. Which means he conducts every day roughly around 8 drilling sessions, reviews. And at the end of the 8th meeting, he would go for a walk. So he would tie up his laces and go for a walk in KBR Park at 6 p.m. Go wear his shoes and then do that and come back next day morning at 10 a.m. sharp. So between 10 a.m. to say 6 p.m. number of meetings that he conducted, he was absolutely blazing in terms of knowledge, problem solving, and everything to identify the issues and differentiate issues from non-issues, and he was absolutely fine. He enjoyed doing it and he has inspired so many of us, and therefore there was no cost to take at all according to me in his professional as well as personal life.
By talking on it, almost wrapping up, just a small commercial break is that there are hardly few copies left in that corner there of this book.
Good point.
Yeah, so that I think you can take an author's signature, introduction and signature autograph also before taking this. Just wrapping up, one other question is, he had a playbook before 91, from 1985, in the free license era, of doing what he did. And then there was 91 takeoff, which we all know, and he was a beneficiary of that as well. What would have been his playbook if he was alive today, in the era since his passing? Because you are now in the age of AI and so many disruptions in the field of education, edutech. What do you think he would have done differently? You can take this first.
If he was alive today in this day and time, he would have consumed the technology much more than all of us put together.
Exactly.
He was amazing in consuming technology. One day I remember he purchased an iPad and he sacked the secretary the next day. So, and the way we were getting the mails, every minute there was a mail. His habit of writing mails is, everything is in the subject itself. One line subject will tell you everything, you don't have to read further. But the moment you look at the subject, you feel like wearing your shoes and going to his office. So there's a burden and a responsibility for you to answer that mail. That's one. Second, the Oracle suite that he subscribed to, the databases that he subscribed to during the early 2010, before 2010, for ITFA Business School, is a trajectory that will tell you that he would have adopted AI much more than what we have adopted today. He would have also told you that there is already AI in ITFA, ICFA.ai.
Yes.
And the other thing is that today,
What is ICF?
there is no organization which is not embracing AI. ITFA is already embracing AI. We have a huge infrastructure, the GPU infrastructure with some 2,000 systems of GPUs. We have projects and partnerships with organizations that come and work with us. Joint projects can be done. We have branded labs with some of these IT companies and AI organizations. So we have done definitely well. But that man always would come with a different perspective and different view. His access to scale and his definition of scale is something unfathomable. And one day he told me that scale is equal to branding. So he viewed that every single day. So he would have definitely done much, much different to what we are able to even articulate now. That much I think.
I have a comment on
Yeah.
that.
You can take it.
Questions, please.
Yeah. I would, I have a very sort of a extended question over here. would Yashasvi still have all of you on his team in the era where? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because the reverse gold rush is there.
You are trying to pit one book against another. He would have definitely had me. Because we love the people who produce intellectual knowledge. I have authored 6 books
Content
so far.
creators.
So then he would have understood that this guy is supposed to speak. But he has an amazing people sense, I'm saying.
That is the important part.
Amazing people sense. One day I will tell you, and this is very, very important. See, the bigger milestones were 1991, after that around 2000, and after that 2008 and 9, 2007, 8, 9, 10. These are watershed moments in the history of Liquify. And what did he do around those different times? He had reinvented himself, he has reinvented the organization, and he told people like us, saying that you don't worry about this, you have better things to do, you have lots of better things to do in the organization. So that's why he found new ways of applying oneself, and he was absolutely fine. He would have reinvented all for lots. So thank you for asking that question.
Thanks, Dr. Sulakar.
He was early disruptor, like very large startup model. One of certain big approaches that youngsters can take in terms of values and what is done. So he was emphasizing more in terms of as an innovator for youngsters.
So he is always interested in youngsters, he has encouraged all those youngsters, he looked into the eye, he motivated them, he gave them important positions. So his investment was in younger people, much more than older people, but not that he never came back to the older people. So the challenge that he offered to younger ones in terms of more than he was expected, he has given them the opportunity. And today the lesson that the youngsters can draw from his life is that to constantly experiment, don't limit your mind to the things that you see at 2-dimensional level. You have to think 360 degree, you have to try 10 things, you will fail miserably in about say 7 things, but you will spectacularly win in 3 things. That is the single biggest lesson the youngsters here can take from his life.
Thank you, Dr. Sulakar. I think that's about the book. If you want to know more, there are some fantastic anecdotes and takeaways from the book. There is also a 9-part journey of what they have summarized beautifully for any entrepreneur, for any student, for any careerist. I found that very interesting. There may be even an interesting web series coming on the basis of the contents of this book. So all of you should go through the book and take away from the massive wisdom and capture.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sri.
Thank you, sir.